congregation for most of my life. My German grandparents moved to rural Crystal Lake in the 1920s and were part of an earlier congregation in this church. My parents were married here. I was baptized here, had my first communion and my confirmation right here at this altar. This wonderful old church has served families like yours and mine well over the last 100 years. It is not only a place for us to worship our Lord and Savior, but to share the events of our lives from birth to death in the presence of our God. Personally, it has been a source of comfort and peace in times of trouble, and a place where I can come to talk with God and ask for His guidance. It is also a place where we learn that all things happen in God's time, not in ours. When I was a teenager, there was a rock and roll band called the Beatles. One of the many songs written by one of their musicians, John Lennon, had words that went something like this. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. It had a pretty little melody, but those are devastating lyrics for the Christian soul. I can't even begin to imagine a world without God and the saving grace of His Son, Jesus Christ. This world would certainly be a cold, hopeless place full of desperate, lonely people. Who would I take my troubles to, if not for God, who lives with us in every one of our homes? I'm blessed to have roots in this community, and blessed that the generations of the past have provided for us and helped to guide us into the future. But this wonderful old church that has had its cornerstone laid by those who came before us is looking to us to prepare for the future of this congregation. It's our turn now to carry on the legacy and to plan for the future generations to come, the same as previous generations did for us. Emmanuel is at the beginning of an amazing adventure with an opportunity to bring the good news of the resurrection to the entire community of Crystal Lake. This new church can be the center of so many more lives in Crystal Lake, and God has given us the resources we need to accomplish this mission. Florence's gift has given us a foundation for a new church. New cornerstones are ready to be placed and set for the new church. The entire process of getting us to this point has taken what feels like, to some of us, a very long time. But we have to remember that things get done in God's time, not in ours. And that time is now. I pray that all of you are just as excited about this event as I am. After all, how many people do you know that have a chance to say, I helped build that church? There's another song that speaks about imagining. And it is much more joyous to the Christian soul. And it goes something like this. I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus, or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence, or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. It is time for all of us to imagine what God has in store for us. This congregation of believers preparing for the future. Thank you.
married in 1976. We bought a new house. And 6 months after we bought the house, our daughter got sick and we had tragedy. She got sick in November, and she had a bad blood disease, and we lost her on Memorial Day the following year. Well, actually, I was mad at myself and mad at God. I was mad at the world, so I quit going to church. So it was been about 2 years, and got around to Easter time again. We had our family together, and the whole family was there, and the extended family was mostly Catholic, so they wanted to do their thing. And my brother-in-law and I stayed back, and he never goes to church, and Brenda still doesn't go to church. But he said, it's Easter. He said, let's go to church. I said, wow, that was really incredible. He said, well, where would you like to go? He said, well, we ended up just getting in the car and driving. And we happened to come here, and I said, there's a quaint little church over on Kennedy Avenue. Let's go check it out. I sat back in the corner, in the last row. Peter was preaching that day. He preached the well of the sermon. And we left, and I was just really mesmerized.
What drew me here initially was Pastor Tooze and Pastor Bergen. They had such a warm, inviting nature, and so that was the key. We'd been to the church maybe 1 or 2 times. We visited, and Pastor Bergen, we would see him around town or at the health club, and he immediately knew us on a first name basis. He would say, hi Tom, hi Carol, and my husband is in sales, and I think that kind of went a long way with him.
Well, when we came to Crystal Lake, naturally that's what we were looking for. Missouri Synod was a church with a day school, figuring when the family comes along, we'll have a place to educate them. This way it turned out. And so we've been members here now since 1952.
The school. We have 4 children, and Tessa was going into preschool, and Tessa and I went to Lutheran school in Milwaukee. He went to Bethlehem, I went to Love Memorial, and we just know the value of the Christian education.
I went to a Lutheran church growing up, and it was a different synod, but the fact that this church was so close and it was so pretty made me want to come over and give it a try. And after I started coming here, I just I felt very affirming, very comfortable, and I really liked that. Me too.
I have friends here. I can come back here every week. Like if I had a bad week, and I can see my friends, and I know like they're not going to judge me, like think any differently of me if I've had like a bad week. So I can just come here and talk to them. And it's just like it's kind of like a safe zone. It's really cool.
I think by having so many Christian friends all around me, it helps my faith to grow. And I really like the support I get. When I had cancer, a number of years ago, they wanted me to go to a support group, and I said, I don't need it because I have my Christian friends. And to me, this is what supports me, is how Christian everyone is around. No matter what happens, there's somebody there for me.
The challenge that I ran into was back in 2000 when I ended up having open heart surgery. And I was not expecting that at all. Never had any symptoms, and all of a sudden I was there. And when I went through the surgery and came back out of it, it started to hit me that I was mortal, and that there was an end time, and that I needed to really strengthen my relationship with God. And he had spoken to me several different times, and basically he said, Dorn, you have a few extra heartbeats. What are you going to do with the rest of those heartbeats? Yeah, the church was very helpful. We had people who would come over with meals, and they certainly were supportive to Jean while she was here. Most of my children were not at home at the time, so she got a bit more support from those people.
For me, I've struggled over the past few years. I've lost my parents, and I've had some health issues that I've been struggling with. So there have been a lot of opportunities for me to use my faith, and during those times, it's been a huge comfort just to know that we serve a huge God that is bigger than any of our problems. And I think for me, there's been a lot of annual members that have ministered and helped along the way, and just really touched my heart. And I go back to 1 John 3:18, it says, "Let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth." And that's what those people at Email did for me.
Pastor Burton and Pastor Tools were Johnny on the spot. I should also say that the Catholic priest was there too, you know, he's
St. Joseph's
hospital, you know, St. Joe's.
It's something that friends here, as well as our family, of course, support that is vital in your life.
I must say right now with the adversity I'm going through with Ruth being in a special care facility, I just can't help but appreciate the family that we have here at Emmanuel. There isn't a Sunday goes by, but someone asks about her. And I think this is something that really has strengthened my faith since this has happened. And so I'm really thankful to be part of this and just appreciate the people asking about it.
Friends I have there, because I've been here for a long time, so I've just made a lot of friends.
The children, church, school, wherever they are, I always had love and a passion for children. I think the Lord just kind of gave me that. I like the older children too, the seniors, and the ones in the middle.
Pastor Tima is all things for me. He's a friend, he's a leader, he's an inspiration.
We like the worship style. There's variety here.
For me, Bible study, God Koenig's Bible study, it answered so many questions that I had. You know, I thought that they were going to be, not wanting to hear that or, become upset because, I doubted these things, but never that way. It was always, oh sure, I heard that question. Here's some sources to look at. So that really helped.
I would say the people, for being here more than a decade, get to know people, and you know people at your own high school, but then, you get to meet so many new people through your friends that, here you all have like one common interest, and that's Jesus Christ.
I feel God's presence when I attend this church. When I walk into this church, I feel His envelopment. We have a very warm, nurturing congregation, gifted pastors that are incredibly good speakers. That's all. Love our choirs. And then I truly enjoy the contemporary services that we have.
Now I'd like to take an opportunity to invite Brenda Geanine up and share her story and also the story of her family.
Good morning. My name is Brenda Koenig, for those of you who don't know me, and I am here to tell you my personal story of how Emmanuel has impacted my life. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was raised here in the Chicagoland area, attending Faith Lutheran Church in Arlington Heights with my family and my grandparents. I loved going to church and sitting with Grandma in the second to last pew on the left every Sunday, while Grandpa was in the back ushering and learning to sing the hymns and the liturgy out of the older hymnal. I went off to college after I was confirmed, and I met my husband Kurt at the University of Illinois. After we were married, we spent several of our early married years in Fort Worth, Texas, where we were very active in our church as Sunday school teachers and youth sponsors. But by the time I was pregnant with boy number 3, we knew it was time to come home, and we made the move back to Illinois. We settled into our home in Cary just 12 years ago. Before our youngest son, Christian, was born, we joined the local church, put our oldest son, Carl, in the preschool program, and started to get acquainted with the area. So how did we come up here to Emmanuel? Well, before Kurt had asked me to marry him 20 years ago, he asked me if I would consider sending our kids to a Lutheran school. Kurt had grown up in Lutheran education, and I knew this was very important he was a great example of a Lutheran education. And I also got the feeling that I needed to answer yes to this question to get to the next question. So of course, I said yes. When our oldest son Carl was ready for kindergarten, we came up to Crystal Lake to visit Emmanuel Lutheran School. The following fall, Carl started kindergarten with Ellen Green, and Kevin, our middle son, started preschool in the Little Art program with Dale Tripoli. Bill Frank, of course, came and knocked on our door after we had visited the church, but it was an invitation by another preschool mom that really drew me into the family of Emmanuel. She invited me to a mom's Bible study that happened on Thursday mornings in the church basement. I had a lot of little kids at the time, but she assured me that they could play in the nursery during our study time. And I just loved this Bible study and the friends that came with it. And it wasn't too long after that we decided to join the church. I got involved with the Sunday school program and Vacation Bible School, and a couple of years later I joined the school staff as a second grade teacher. We made wonderful friends here, and we currently enjoy being part of the Dinners for Eight program, which I highly recommend, as well as being part of a small group Bible study. We have always said that Emmanuel is our second family, but we didn't know how true that was until last summer when our 13-year-old Kevin was diagnosed with cancer. From the start of this family crisis, our family here at Emmanuel has rallied around us in unbelievable ways, and we have never felt so cared for and so loved. At first, all we knew was that Kevin had an unidentified mass in his sinus cavity. That was all we needed to know to get the prayer warriors here praying for us. Before Kevin's very nerve-wracking surgery last July, some thoughtful souls even put together a prayer service for Kevin to pray him and us through his surgery and the days that would follow. Not yet knowing that Kevin's tumor was cancerous, we had hoped that the surgery would be the end of the crisis. Unfortunately, it was only the beginning. Since then, people have come out of every corner of this church and school to support us. Kevin began chemotherapy treatments in August, and our family life has turned upside down. Treatments means Kevin is admitted to the hospital for 3 to 5 days of chemo every 3 weeks, and naturally I go with him. I took a leave of absence from teaching this year so that my leaving home every 3 weeks means that not only does Kurt get to support us financially, but he also has to run the household while I am gone. Our Emmanuel family stepped right up to help us in every which way, and this crazy life we've been living became bearable. Let me tell you some of the ways that you, our Emmanuel family, have helped us. First and foremost, you have prayed for us. Just knowing that people are holding Kevin up in prayer has been a huge comfort to us. You have sent cards, emails, and messages to brighten Kevin's days. You have driven Christian, our youngest son, to and from school and all around town, and even taken him in when we had no place else to be. The school kids dedicated their chapel offerings from the first quarter to the American Cancer Society and also donated a cartload of toys and games to the pediatric floor at Rush, where Kevin spends all of his hospital stays. The look on the social worker's face was priceless as she helped me unload all of the toys from the car. She couldn't get over the generosity of the students of Emmanuel Lutheran School. You have sent meals and meals and meals to help out Kurt while I am gone. And you may have noticed a bunch of bald men and boys around here lately who all volunteered to shave their heads to support pediatric cancer research, which Kevin, by the way, thoroughly enjoyed. Kevin is nearing the end of his treatments, and I am glad to report that there is currently no sign of cancer, but I will forever be touched by the support of this church helping us find our way through this ordeal. For me, even though it really stinks to watch my child fight cancer, it has been truly awesome to watch the community of Emmanuel work together. I knew that our families and our friends here and the church and school staff would help however they could, but I was quite humbled when I saw that the people cheering us on and helping us out were every kind of person that makes up Emmanuel. We have had lifelong members as well as new members helping us, old and young and every age in between, church families and school families that are not members, people we know well, and some of you that we have not even met. And of course, the cancer survivors themselves who knew what to say to keep us going. All of you doing God's work is a part of this place we call Emmanuel. I see God at work here, and I feel God at work here, and I have learned so much about what it means to be part of the body of Christ and how to reach out to others when it is again my turn to serve. As I see the earth being moved over at the Commons and I hear about plans for the new buildings, I many ways that we as a church can grow to serve others in our community. My hope for the future is that all who come into contact with Emmanuel Lutheran Church and School will feel God's love as much as we have felt it.
Allows us to attract people that maybe we would not have been able to attract in our current facilities. I think the door is just wide open, and God's opening those doors for us and leveling the field. It's up to us now to kind of grab the ball and run.
As we take a look at the future, we always do well to go back to what's past. I'd like to turn back to a time very close to when this congregation began. It was
Incredibly good speakers. That's us. Love our choirs. And then I truly enjoy the contemporary services that we have.
It's always nice to hear those personal stories. And I think that's the value of what we're talking about with Vision Sunday as we begin that new building project. That it's not just about the building, but it's about what mission and what ministry will take place in that coming building and what has taken place here and what the body of Christ looks like. Along with those video testimonies, I'd like to also ask Judy Piper to come up, and she's got a story that she'll share with us.
Hello, I'm Geanine Piper, and I've been a member of Emmanuel for 60 years. During that time, I've been involved in many aspects of ministry and service here. But today I've been asked to talk about how being a member of Emmanuel has helped me to grow spiritually. And three things come to mind. The first one is the Bethel Bible series, which under Pastor Bergen I did many years ago. And even though I felt I was well versed in the scriptures, this particular Bible study really showed me a different way to look at God and how He works in our lives. This was truly a life-changing experience for me. The second was some years ago after that, our congregation sponsored a family from Laos, a refugee family. We resettled them here. I and a core of people were responsible for that resettlement. So much so that the family called me Mom and my husband Papa. Those were 3 very challenging years. It was a time when I felt like Peter. God had invited me to step out of that boat, but once I did, I certainly couldn't walk on water, and there was no way I could have worked with this family without holding on to God. This was something that I had never done before, and there wasn't anybody to give me any instructions. And so I truly learned to rely on God to help me during what turned out to be some very stressful times. The last was the prayer chain. I've been involved with that since its inception many years ago. And what a privilege that is to have a front row seat to watch God work in people's lives. It's truly humbling to be able to pray for others in their needs and in their joys, and to see God answer their prayers. God speaks to each one of us in different ways. To me, it's been through Bible study, through prayer, and through giving me the courage to get out of the boat and do what He's called me to do. He talks to each one of you, too, in ways that you can understand Him. They may not be the ways He talks to me, but ways that suit you personally. So this morning, I ask you to, number 1, turn off your cell phones and listen to God. And then, get out of that comfortable boat that we all ride in. Take Jesus' hand. Let Him walk you to that shore where He has work for all of us to do.